Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. The health tax, fighting the health tax. I'll tell you what I mean about fighting it, but first you need to understand what I mean by the health tax. The health tax is the extra that we have to pay to try and eat a little more healthy. For some of us, it's just something we'd like to do a little better. For some others of us, it's an extremely important to our way of life. The stats I read about it is 40% of Americans are considered obese. That means, as a rule of thumb, Americans need to be eating healthier. But that's really tough to do because when you go out to eat, when you go out shopping, there's not that many choices. When you think about it, it also costs a lot more to be able to eat healthy. If you're going to a supermarket, you go through the aisles, there's lots of stuff you can be enchanted with. There's the breads and the pastas and the sugars and the caramels and the ice creams, and they're all filled with this wonderful comfort food. You know what another word for comfort food is? Carbs. Mhm. Carbs used to be something I loved. As a kid, I could get all the carbs I wanted. I was a pretty heavy kid at times as in my youth. But as I got older, I got diagnosed with this thing that, well, I kind of like to think of it as a food allergy. See, I'm allergic to sugar. Too much sugar in my blood is bad for my health. They have another name for it. They call it type 2 diabetes. Matter of fact, they even have another name for what type 2 diabetes my type is. They call it insulin resistance. Well, I don't know if resistance is futile, but I don't feel completely resistant to it because insulin can work for me a little bit. And my blood sugar isn't completely uncontrolled. I do need medication and I do need to watch what I'm eating. So when I go out to eat, oh, there's where the health tax comes in, both obvious and less obvious. There's the more obvious when I'm trying to find something healthy to eat. Okay, there's a salad. Side salad, what's that? $4.50, right? You want to throw chicken on the side with your dish? What's that? Another $3, so we're up to 7.50. But you order a salad with chicken on it, grilled chicken, all of a sudden you're spending 12, 13, $14. The same as the steak with the mashed potatoes and the gravy and all the other wonderful, yummy stuff. You've got to pay just as much for that little sad salad with a couple of pieces of chicken on it. That is enough. It satisfies, but it feels like I'm paying a whole lot more for a whole lot less just to get by. And that to me is one of the worst parts of the health tax. But the other parts of the health tax is the fact that it's so hard to find the good food. You see lots of great boxes, and some of them will even tell you light, good for you, keto. But when you look at them, some of them don't have really good net carbs. And what's a net carb, you ask? You have to go fishing for a net carb? A net carb is what you get when you take your original carb count and you take away the stuff your body won't turn into sugars. The fibers get taken out. Sugar alcohols, fake sugars, get taken out. And protein doesn't get taken out directly, but can help your body not use as much into sugar immediately and perhaps not use at all sugar. So all those things can take something that may start at 10 carbs and bring it down to maybe as low as net 2. Net 2 is doing pretty darn good for me. That way I can try and keep under 30 carbs, maybe 45 carbs a day, which is really low compared to what most people do. But I have to keep pretty darn low in my net carbs. My total carbs are a bit higher, but my net carbs have to stay low just to try and keep my blood sugar moderately under control. And some days it isn't even as well controlled as I'd like. But the health tax makes it so much harder because I go shopping and I look at the front of the boxes and almost none of them tell me these net carbs. So I have to go fishing. What's on the back of the box? What are on the ingredients? Oh, does this have one of those artificial sugars I don't want? Erythritol. You can keep the erythritol. I've heard some really bad stuff about it lately. I'm avoiding that. Okay, what else does it have? Oh, it starts out with the 10 carbs, takes away 6 for fiber. Oh, we're doing pretty good. We're down to 4. It's got some artificial sugars, maybe Splenda. Splenda's pretty good. Stevia, all right. Natural sugar, natural base sugar. I'll take that. That's pretty good. There's some others like monk fruit and coconut sugars that are more sugary, but are a little less absorbed by the body. They're a little better, and they have some other health benefits like the annulin that can help your body. So there's different types of chemicals and sugars and net carbs that can help you out, but you don't see those on the front of most boxes. That makes it really hard to find them. The other thing is most of those ones that do say net 4 carbs, net 3 carbs, net 2 carbs, occasionally even net 0 carbs, celebrating, those are almost always have something else on the price tag that's very different than their friends next door with the sugar. Friends next door with sugar, they're about $4. The ones with the net carbs that are lower, they're starting at 7, 8, 9, 10, $12 for that box. Oh, and guess what? There's only 4 in this box and there's 6 in this box. There's a health tax for you. So to fight the health tax, I look for items that are not as much of a difference where possible, or at least do really well for me for the price that I get. I look to see, can I get it in bulk? I'll go to Sam's if it's got it in stock. And where possible, I think about what are the other options? Can I just make it at home? Sometimes I can, but that takes a lot of work, and it's not always convenient to make it at home, especially if you're going out to a Toastmasters meeting. You don't want to have to lug a whole grill along with you. So for me, the whole health tax is whether or not you're trying to keep healthy, how the world helps us keep healthy, and seeing what we can do to try and convince the world, hey, we need better options, we need more obvious options, we need fairer options. And in the meantime, yeah, we may spend a little more, but we know we're spending more and you're not tricking us anymore. So keep it out there, keep thinking about how you can eat healthy and fight that health tax your own way. Madam Toastmaster.